This is the historical background of the nature of cell. In 1665, British scientist Robert Hooke observed mass tiny cavities from thin slices of cork with his self-made microscope. He named these structures cells. These structures reminded him of the small room in the monastery. 1674, Dutch scientist Anton van Leeuwenhoek made pioneering discoveries concerning protozoa, red blood cells, capillary systems, and the life cycles of an insect. He also perfected the construction of the compound microscope. 1831, British botanist Robert Brown observed plant cells with a distinct central part and coined the term nucleus. He also described the streaming movement of the cytoplasm and called that the Brownian movement. 1835, French biologist Félix Dujardin observed that cells were not empty but filled with thick jelly-like fluids called the protoplasm. 1838, German botanist Matthias Leiden concluded that plants are composed of cells and formulated the plant cell theory. In 1839, German zoologist Theodor Schwann concluded that animals are composed of cells and formulated the animal cell theory. And in 1858, German pathologist Rudolf Virchow concluded that all cells must come only from pre-existing cells. 1932, German engineers Maxwell and Ernst Röskopf built the first transmission electron microscope. By 1953, James Watson, American biochemist, and Francis Crick, British biophysicist, discovered the structure of DNA that ushered in the era of molecular biology.
The microscopes used today are far more complex than those used in the 1600s by Anthony van Leeuwenhoek, a Dutch shopkeeper who had a great skill in crafting lenses. Despite the limitation of his now ancient lenses, van Leeuwenhoek observed the movements of protista, a type of a single-celled organism, and sperm, which he collectively termed animalcules. In 1665, publication called Micrographia, experimental scientist Robert Hooke coined the term cell from the box-like structures he observed when viewing cork tissue through a lens. In the 1670s, van Leeuwenhoek discovered bacteria and protozoa. Later advances in lenses, microscope construction, and staining techniques enabled other scientists to see some components inside the cells. By the late 1830s, botanist Matthias Leiden and zoologist Theodor Schwann were studying fishes and proposed the unified cell theory. The unified cell theory states that all living things are composed of one or more cells. The cell is the basic unit of life, and new cells arise from existing cells. Rudolf Virchow later made important contributions to this theory. Leiden and Schwann proposed spontaneous generation as the method for cell origination. But spontaneous generation, also called abiogenesis, was later disproven. Rudolf Virchow famously stated, "Omni cellula e cellula." All cells only arise from pre-existing cells. The parts of the theory that did not have to do with the origin of cells, however, held up to scientific scrutiny and are widely agreed upon by the scientific community today. Cell theory was proposed by the German scientists Theodor Schwann, Matthias Leiden, and Rudolf Virchow. The cell theory states that all living species on Earth are composed of cells. A cell is the basic unit of life. All cells arise from pre-existing cells. A modern version of the cell theory was eventually formulated and it contains the following postulates. Energy flows within the cells. Genetic information is passed on from one cell to the other. The chemical composition of all the cells is the same.